I'm no more than a friend, girl. I can see that you need more. My boots are on my feet now. My bag is by the door. And the love and the attention that you need.
State your name.
Ellie hit.
Yes, okay, that was good. Excellent beginning. How long have you gone to Harvard Hall?
For 4 years. I started my freshman year, and after coming from Harding, such a great place. So yeah, 4 years.
What is your favorite song?
Okay, so I go through phases. I'm a really big phase person with music, but I would say my favorite song is actually not one that anybody else I don't think would say. It's Pretty Girl from Chile by the Ava Brothers. It's a song that actually isn't one of their songs that people usually like, and it's really strange because I think the reason I like it is it's really jarring, and there's different sections of the song, and you go through a story and you think you know what's coming next, but you don't unless you know the song. I just really like it, and I really like that in general.
Do you have a favorite movie or favorite book?
Honestly, my two favorite movies, no joke, are Mean Girls and The Notebook. Typical teenage movies, but I mean, The Notebook has made me cry since it came out, and it came out when we were in 4th or 5th grade maybe, I don't know, and it's just always hit really deep to me, I don't know. I guess just that idea that true love can prevail, and I guess it is really cheesy, but it's the old people love that gets me. And Mean Girls is the most quotable movie of all time. There's no argument. Favorite book? Honestly, I really like Miss Dalloway, which is strange because I usually don't like books that were written or that we have to read for school, and I just feel like it's really honest, and I admire that about it because there's not this veneer of perfection. It's just one person's true emotions and how it's normal to have conflicting thoughts, and you're not strange or castaway.
Who do you think has been a role model in your life for you?
I think my mom, really, because we're the same person. I mean, as much as I've tried over the years to distance myself or say, oh, but I'm not this is her, or she's more this than me, she's better at this than me, or we're different in that way, it really has been like that because she's so nice to everyone. I don't know. I wish I could be more like that a lot and just really genuinely appreciate everyone like my mom does. And she finds the good in everybody, and I think it's really admirable. And Allie Polk. I mean, I'm just going to be honest about that. Whenever I tell people, when I talk about Harvard Hall, I always talk about Allie Polk. She always comes up.
What subject or extracurricular are you most passionate about?
Theater. I don't know. It's funny because when usually I tell people that at Harding I played 4 sports, that's not a lie. At Harding I played 4 sports. But then I just kind of decided that I was going to try out for the musical because it was kind of scary, and I can't really sing. I don't know if that's a well-known fact. I can't, and I can't read music either. So I tried out freshman year, and I was so scared because I decided that I'd go in the first group. Auditioned with Margaret Burris and Corbin, and went after them, and I was about to cry when I got up on stage, and I'm just thinking, they're never gonna let me be in the show. There's just no way. And then I got cast, and then I was gonna play lacrosse, other less known fact, and then I got cast in Love's Labor's Lost, and I was thinking, you know, it's more time, and I think that through theater I have my closest friends, and I have such good friends outside of theater, but there's something about doing theater with people and thinking about things that you would never think about before and exploring topics, and some of them are really stupid. The musical themes are stupid and they don't make sense, and if you actually try and tie the story together, they don't make sense. But some of the other shows that I've been in, I've had to really think about what it would be like, I guess, and you just think about a different world, and so I'm really passionate about that. And it's sad because I'm not doing theater next year, but it's time to move on. But at the same time, like, different shows, in my room, I have all my show posters hung up along my wall. So there's 17 show posters that just go all the way around. And on the back of them, a tradition we have is that you write notes to people after the show. And so there's a note from, I mean, you don't have to sign everyone's, but everyone does get really close. And so you know, if I'm ever feeling bad, I take it down and read one of the things, and everyone's so kind. And then the other times I'll read something and I'll remember something so stupid that happened, but that was like the funniest thing in the world, and it just makes me so happy, even though it's gonna be over soon.
What was your favorite show to be in?
Lucky Stiff. It was, and I guess there is something about the senior musical, because I knew that I was never going to do musical theater in college. I had kind of wavered on doing regular theater, but knowing that it was going to be my last, I just knew that I wanted to make it perfect. And everyone in the cast was just above and beyond. Usually there's some issues. There weren't issues. We all loved each other, and being with the director, like Cal Fuller is awesome, and he had this really cool vision and said, let's put dogs in the show. And we're like, great, let's put dogs in the show. There's dogs, and it was crazy, but also just that was my favorite role that I've ever played. And it was really hard for me because when I found out I had to play Rita, I was like, I can't sing that song. And I told my mom, and I went home and I was like, Mom, I'm so excited, but I can't sing it. And she said, no, you can, and I could sing it by the end. So I guess it was just super rewarding, and just looking back on it, I'm so proud of everything everybody did. I think everybody put their heart into it and just loved the whole process, and it makes it so much better.
What has been your favorite moment of high school, or just one of your favorites?
Okay.
I know that's a hard question.
Because I can think of so many individual moments where it's my favorite moment of class has been, my favorite moment of this has been, but favorite moment altogether. Okay, this is such a weird moment. It's more of a story, but I'm more of a story person.
Yeah.
So freshman year, we had to go get this piece of furniture for a show that we were doing, and we went to go get it, Alex Floyd and I, and it was his first week of getting his license. He is a notoriously bad driver. He, since then, has gotten in so many wrecks, it's ridiculous, but we were driving back, and we were going to put this wardrobe in the car. So we get there, and the wardrobe won't fit. And we're just like, okay, well, we'll break off the headboard. So we don't have any tools, and the guy who was helping us, he's our theater director at Harding, has carpal tunnel. I'm not kidding. You can't make something with him. He had carpal tunnel, and so he couldn't help us. And so we seriously take off our shoes and start banging it, and we're banging the headboard off, and it splits off. Okay, great. So that takes off in like a foot. Still won't fit. Keep in mind, we have no hammer. If we had a hammer, this would be a totally lame story. So then we take other things because we have to get the wheels off because it still won't fit. So we start just like hacking away at these wheels, and they start falling out. Keep in mind, this whole time I'm just like crying laughing because I laugh really easily, and we're just dying. It still won't fit. So we call this guy who's also in the show, and we say, can you come bring your pickup truck? Because we were trying to shove it in the back of a Ford Escape, so it looked like it'd be different, but wouldn't. Yeah. So he gets there, and we realize it won't fit in his car. And we're saying, you know, we promised we would have it there by the next day. We've got to get it there. Desperate times, desperate measures. So we push it in, and the bed won't close. And so we're like, we're gonna have to use rope. We go into Walgreens and we buy some rope, and we tie it. And we don't have anything to tie it with because it won't meet the ends. I'm not kidding you. We found Scotch tape in the car, and we Scotch taped the rope to the car. And we're like, good idea. The bed's open. He's like, okay, well, you have to drive behind me because I don't want it to fly out at someone else. So we are driving behind. Probably the most nerve-wracking moments of my life. I'm on the phone with him as he's driving. Alex is driving, and we're all freaking out because there's this wardrobe that may or may not at any time just come like right through. We're sitting there, and at one part we're about to turn. And we're like, okay, like, we're so close. We are so close to NBA. Like, it's ridiculous. We're almost there, and we're making this turn. And Alex had bought goobers when we had gone, this is relevant, had bought goobers when we had gone into Walgreens. And he heard them spill, and he goes, my goobers! No joke. Both hands off the wheel, turns around the ground, I was like, no! I have to grab it. And we're like, okay, crisis avoided. We are now like 2 seconds from NBA, and something comes flying towards us. And I seriously thought I was gonna die. I was just like, I'm gonna die. And it was the tape. And we had forgotten to take the tape off. And it was like the thing of tape taking this, but it was just really fun. Yeah.
What qualities do you value most in people?
You gotta be able to make me laugh. I know people usually say I just mix kind and honest, so it was kind and honest, but I really do think that there's such a value in being able to make someone happy. And even if sometimes the humor is a little dark or offensive to some people, I think that there is such a value in being able to brighten someone's day when they're having just such a bad day, but then after that, just being nice to people. I think that there's a lot of value placed on the people who are nice, but I think we often overlook those people who are really genuinely nice. And we say, oh, she's so nice, she brings cake every advisory, she's so nice. But just those people who will go out of their way to make you feel good and don't think anything of it. They're not doing it because they want a brownie point. They're doing it because that's what's right and that's what's right to do. And I think, so just being funny and being nice and being open-minded, I really, really value that. I don't think you have to agree with someone, and I think it would be a really boring world if everyone agreed, but I do think that you have to let everyone say what they feel and listen to them. And again, you don't have to agree with it, and you probably shouldn't agree with most of the things you hear, but just to be able to look at things with a fresh pair of eyes, I think is a really, really valuable quality.
What do you consider to be the best aspect of Harvard Hall, and what do you think could use some change?
Okay. The best aspect about Harvard Hall is the people. There are gonna be people you don't get along with anywhere you go, but I think that here, it's such a minimal number. When I think about the people who I wouldn't, like I was talking to my mom and saying, if everybody went to the same college, I can think of so few people who I would want to room with. Everyone else, I was like, they're great, or they make me happy, or I remember this one time when they did this. And I think that what really stands out about Harvard Hall is that everyone isn't boxed in. So I can remember people who are in one certain box, but I can remember something really weird and strange that they did. And I think Harvard Hall really does celebrate that in some ways, in being your quirky self, and how it's totally normal to run down the hallway and lift up your skirt. Maybe that's just what I think is funny, but I don't know, it's just that just being able to be pretty open about who you are, I think that's a great thing. And I think that comes from the fact that we have people who are really quality people. They are just wonderful, and they might make mistakes, but they're genuine mistakes. They don't mean to hurt people, I would say, for the most part. Things that could use improving. I think a lot of times Harvard Hall is slow to change, and for some people that's great, and for me that's kind of been a problem. And I was kind of worried about it initially coming here, just saying it's such a traditional school with traditional values, and I don't consider myself a traditional person. I guess I have a lot of different beliefs that I don't think a lot of people agree with, and again, like I said, I don't mind, but I think that a lot of times student opinion has changed and teacher opinion has changed, but the environment hasn't, and that rules are still the same, and that certain clubs can't function, and that certain speakers can't speak, even though if you probably polled everyone, majority would go with it. So I think that a lot of times there's policies that don't keep up with reality.
What do you feel like is one of your greatest accomplishments in high school, or just something that you're really proud of?
I got asked this on college app, and I couldn't think of anything, and I was so bummed because I was thinking, gosh, I must have done something. I must have done something that did something, and this has actually happened recently, and I don't even know if it's as much as an accomplishment as it. I feel as though it made me feel the way, the accomplishment that you're asking about, what it made me feel. And that is that over winterim, I worked for Nations Ministry Center, which is this nonprofit organization that helps immigrants and refugees. And I think whenever I come back from a trip or where I'm going to help people, I always think about how it's impacted me, and it always does it. It always leaves a significant impact, and I always think about how something someone said there to me made a difference on me, and I guess I never really considered that I might be actually changing them. I thought like so much of it was, which I guess is the converse of what most people believe. I think a lot of people go into something saying, I'm going to change someone's life, but for me, I go because I do feel enriched when I leave somewhere, and I say, I learned so much from that. But I think that what really changed this for me was two of the people that I worked with for winterim came to see my show. They came to see Steal My Noise, and I hadn't reminded them of it. I didn't put it on Facebook. I'm not even friends with them, and they just came and they showed up for me, and I was like, thank you, thank you so much. And they said, Ellie, you have no idea what you've done for those kids. And I was thinking, you're just being nice. And they were talking about how this woman had brought them cookies, and they said, these are from Ellie, aren't they? And they said, no, Ellie, we told you Ellie's, she's back at school. And they said, no, it's from Ellie because she's the sweetest person I know. And one of the little boys said that, and it just made me feel good. I don't know. It's bringing tears to my eyes right now. But just like knowing that something you did could impact someone else.
That's beautiful. Is there anything just about your life or just high school in general that you would have done differently or that you regret at all?
I think I do something certain times because I don't realize that they'll have an impact, like just kind of selfish things that I don't realize at the time, and that end up having a really big effect that I would have never foreseen. And it's not that you do it because you mean to hurt somebody, but that's kind of the implication. So I guess that if I could go back and kind of relive situations, there are definitely certain moments where I wouldn't have done something if I had known what would happen. But I guess in general, I wouldn't change anything because I think a lot of good has happened from mistakes that I've made, and not necessarily that I've learned from all of them, because some of them have happened more than once, but that good things come from the bad sometimes. And so I think if I went back and changed everything, there would be a lot of wrong. But I do think that one thing that if I could, the cliche question, if I could go back and tell myself something, I think I would tell myself that it's natural for friends to change. And I think that it hurt me really badly when certain things happen, where I should have just realized that I'm changing at just the same rate as someone else, and I probably should have thought about that before trying to assign blame. But just that people change, things change, circumstances change, and that doesn't have to change what was beautiful before.
Yeah. So true. Is there a particular class or teacher that has really impacted you over your 4 years of high school?
I think there's two, really. One person hasn't been what I learned in the classroom, so I think he gets overlooked, is Mr. Springman. I really look up to Mr. Springman, and he's kind of taken me under his wing. He has just been so inspirational to me because he's willing to go against the grain and do something that you're not supposed to do. He's not supposed to share personal opinions. A lot of the teachers are really aware of the fact that they're not supposed to tell their personal opinions, but I think I respect him so much because he is willing to put himself into his opinions and to say, you know, you might not agree with this, and this isn't based in fact, but I feel this way, and I really respect that. And I think that I also respect him because in the classroom he does what he wants to do, and I remember things that I've learned there. And it's not that psychology changed my life, it didn't, but conversations that I've had with Mr. Springman have really impacted me, and I think about them a lot. But in terms of a curricular classes, I just got an itch. Mr. Croker. Just in terms of my whole world being kind of flipped upside down, I had never, and I love to read. I've loved to read since I was really little, but in terms of seeing literature in a whole new light, and I think that he's so wonderful at making you realize how so many stories are your life in a way, and how different things that you think you're so distant from, they're happening right now on a different scale. And even just comparisons between a book and a movie and saying, oh, I saw that there, but I never made sense of that. And then I think also his anecdotes are the reason why literature has started to become even more fun for me. And I've always loved it, but I think now I really understand it because I think about what's actually going on. And it's not just the words that are written on the page, and it's not just the syntax, it's not just the word choice. It's not about that. It's about the emotions that you convey, because literature is about learning about yourself, I think, in so much. And I think that he really just opened my eyes to that it's not just some stuffy old person who wrote it. Even if it's a wonderful novel, it's something that's so applicable to your life today. And the stories in that class just go on and on and on.
Remember that. What do you think just like the general high school experience has taught you about yourself or about other people?
I think that I was worried coming to Harpeth Hall that everyone was going to be the same. And it's a totally irrational fear. And I was worried going anywhere for the same reason. And why I'm now not worried about college because I've experienced it here, is that you shouldn't try and box yourself in. And I really think that's what Harpeth Hall has helped me to do, is that I don't have to just be the theater kid. I can do theater and do student council and be president of something and like decide to completely shirk my abilities in something else. If I don't, you know what? I mean, it's fine. And I think that I've really gotten a lot happier with being I used to be just a perfectionist, and that was kind of like my whole thing, is I wanted everything to be perfect. And I think after coming here, you'd think that it would be even worse, and because a lot of people here are hypersensitive and want to succeed, and that's fine, but I think for me, seeing that there were people who could succeed and not have to be like that really has made high school more enjoyable for me, and understanding that going to class isn't just about making sure I get an 100, but just making sure that I'm genuinely enjoying every moment. So I think that high school has taught me that you, one, should really enjoy everything that happens, because there is going to be a class that you hate, and there's going to be a class that every time you're in it, your head hurts and you just want to get out. But that was the class where I realized that I could kind of be funny. Kind of funny, but I guess I'd always tried to be so serious, and I realized that I don't have to be serious all the time. If I feel a certain way, then I should feel like that. But just enjoy things and just be your true self, and not try and be a certain way because you think that's who you are. Just be who you are. Don't be who your original perception or your 8th grade perception of yourself is, because it's not who you are.
Is there anything else you would like to say? Finally, everybody.
Kind of look at the camera.
You can look at the camera.
Okay. I think the main thing I want to say is that Harvard Law has been wonderful because of everyone who's watching this video. Even if you are freshmen who I might have never talked to, you make me happy when I see you in the hallway, and especially for the seniors, and honestly for a lot of the underclassmen